Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. Today we're discussing how the life of a CEMSI looks like from the very first moments they enter the program and their internship, their experience abroad and finding a job afterwards. And our guests today are two wonderful alumni of GSOM and CEMS, Mariia Mushket and Anastasia Prikhodko. Very happy to see you here. Could you please introduce yourself and tell us where you are currently, where you work, where you live?
Okay, sure, I can start. So my name is Mary and I'm currently living and working in South Korea in Seoul. I'm working for a personal care brand called Kundal, and I am in charge of overseas sales, business development for our company, for European market, also American market, Middle East and Russia.
Thank you. What about you, Nastya?
Hey everyone. My name is Nastya and I'm very glad to be here. Thank you so much for inviting us. And right now I'm working for an edtech company called Adjust. And I work remotely from St. Petersburg for now, but I will relocate to Berlin as soon as I get my visa. I hope it's going to be like in a month or something. So yeah.
Well, very different places, very different locations. But since we're talking about, well, CEMS program today, I would like to ask you how your life looked like before entering the CEMS program. Where were you studying? What were your plans? And why did you decide to join, well, GSOM and CEMS and study math management?
Okay, so I just, at that time, it was 2017, I just graduated, I finished my bachelor's degree, and I was looking for the best business school in Russia. Since I wanted to switch my degree, I was studying politics. And after searching for a while, I found GSOM, which was like ranked #1 in a lot of different rankings. And I checked, for me, the most important, I think that the biggest value of any business degree or business school is #1, why people come to business school, right? Is #1 for the logo, for the brand, and #2 is for networks, which include academic partners, also students you study with, and the alumni. So I checked all of those points on the website, like opportunities to work abroad. If there's any support from GSOM to help me to get a job overseas or in Russia. Also, what kind of students graduate from this university and what the program looks like. Can I go abroad and study overseas, for example? And all of those points matched with what I wanted. So that's why I applied for GSOM. And then while I was studying, I discovered CEMS program, which looked fantastic, since I could go and study abroad in one of the best universities in any country, pretty much. And also, there was an opportunity to get an internship abroad. So yeah, that's why I applied, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. For sure.
A very thorough study then, when you were choosing your
university.
Yeah,
for sure.
How did it look like for you?
Actually, it was a little bit our way around. I was looking not for a business school, but more for international experience. I was studying at the economic faculty of SPBGU, and I was on my second exchange program in South Korea during my 7th semester. And I realized that
South Korea,
of course, it's all about Asia.
It's all about Asia
this day. Yeah, and I was sure that I'd like to continue my international experience and was looking for some school abroad. And I actually wanted to go abroad for a full degree. But when I came back from South Korea, I realized that I don't have time to apply for a business school abroad, and I needed to wait for another year before I can apply, or I can choose something else. And then I found CEMS program first, And actually, I think I found it in Portugal, and I didn't know that there is a GSOM that also offers this program. And once I started to dig into this and looking for some opportunities for me not to lose this year and continue studying right after my bachelor's degree, I decided GSOM was a perfect opportunity for me. And yeah, that's how I ended up being here.
Well, two very different stories, I
Again.
must say. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, well, the moment you joined the university and the program, right, there are, let's say, two aspects of it. The home university and the host university. Let's start with the home university. How did that experience look like for you? What were you doing during your studies? Maybe you participated in some activities. Were they CEMS related? Were they not? Please share.
Yeah, so the experiences I had at GSOM and in my host university, which was, by the way, in Japan, it was Keio University. It was very different. When I joined GSOM, I actually did not expect to have that many alumni meetings, which was great. There were a lot of lectures and seminars, like skill seminars, skill sessions from representatives from P&G, McKinsey, BCG. There was also GSOM Family Day, which is so great. I think that I pretty much participated in every single seminar that was organized by GSOM, the various international conferences, live talks. I think that, like, I also was a body, there was a body program which I joined because I wanted to meet more international students and interact with them to learn their culture. And I was one of the buddies. And I was also in the organizational committee for CEMS White Nights conference. As soon as I joined, I was
Was
in the
during your
marketing
first year?
department. I'm not sure if it was either first or second. I think it was first year. It was first year, maybe. I was participating in that, and yeah, pretty much every single GSOM is offering a lot of different opportunities for you to learn about business, to get to know various sides of business and understand what you're interested in. There are a lot of this kind of activities, so yeah, I think I pretty much used everything. But Japan experience was way more rich in terms of culture because it was completely different. And in Japan, of course, everything is extremely different from what we have here in Russia.
Well, thank you for the comparison. Nastya, what was your experience at GSOM? And also, you went to the Netherlands, right, for your exchange?
Yeah, I was in RSM, Rotterdam School of Management, for my exchange. Like talking about expectations, I think I didn't have any expectations before entering GSOM or going to the Netherlands. I tend not to build any expectations in general because it makes your life much easier, I would say. Yeah. The most excited thing about being part of the CEMS program and studying at GSOM was amount of events, different events, starting from corporate to career fairs and any group project. So there are a lot of opportunities for you to express yourself, to try different things, and that was really cool. And also the environment, I think after studying for my bachelor's, that was my first time when I actually felt this passionate environment of people who are really striving to make a change, to do something new, to try new things.
Заряженных на успех.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was totally the case, and that was first time when I tried solving case championships and participating in those, and there were so many things. And I know that there's a Management of the Future, great corporate event which is organized by our school, and I was so into all of the events and diving into the different things that I honestly didn't have time, and I couldn't imagine how I can participate in that as well.
Yeah.
And
But you're like, it's okay, I'll still do it.
like the problem
up
is
for
that
everything.
I would love to, but at that time I was like overwhelmed with all the information. I didn't join that event, unfortunately. And this is one of my, I would say, regrets of what I haven't done during the period of time, but I could. So yeah, that was, like diving the first year of studying at the CEMS program at GSOM was like diving into everything what can happen in the world actually. And when I went for my exchange in the Netherlands, the school offers you very structural, very organized program, and it was very interesting, and I was glad that I get a chance to be there, take some insights and come back to GSOM. And then I was a head of a CEMS alumni department here, and I was very happy to introduce some practice that existed there at GSOM. So it was very cool.
Thank you for sharing your experience. So if I noted it right, we mentioned, CEMS Club, obviously, from CEMS Alumni, Management of the Future, CEMS White Nights, also something organized by the CEMS Club, a lot of other events that happen locally. But apart from the, let's say, networking part of the program, when you were approaching, for example, the choice of classes, were you looking at something in particular? Maybe there was something you were more interested in, maybe a particular area, or there were some courses that you really love and would like to mention and recommend?
Yeah, for sure. My favorite class was a strategy class with Professor Christodoulou, of course.
SWOT is dead.
Yes, there is no SWOTs.
There are no SWOTs anymore.
Yeah, it was an amazing class. Another one was design thinking with Tatiana Samsonova. And actually that class helped me to get my first internship in Germany. Because Tatiana Samsonova was also organizing, she was supporting some students from GSOM to go and work in Germany in various German companies. And I was in one of the teams during that course. I was in one of the teams which won the competition. So she was picking students who were willing to go, and I was one of those who were chosen. So that class was actually practically super helpful for me. Then there was also a negotiations class, which was a part of CEMS program. Another class which was very interesting was negotiations class. And yeah, I think those, also entrepreneurship class with Professor Makarova was also great, because it had so many international students. It was nice to solve business cases together, to learn from each other's experiences and get perspective. So I think those 4 are my top 4 for sure.
Sounds really cool, especially the part about finding an internship.
A job. Yes.
How did it look like for you, Nastya?
Yeah, Masha actually mentioned almost all our courses. All of them were truly great. I remember a lot of nice group projects connected to those classes. I also quite very well remember the course called Consumer Behavior with Denis. It was a very practical and cool course. And I think the one, it's not like a fully course, but it's something very important for us, was the business project with corporate partners. And I remember that happened during our last term at GSOM. It was very interesting. I worked for JetBrains, and I had very interesting experience of diving into the IT culture. And I think it was one of the moments then I realized that I really want to go deeper into the IT sphere, and that's why I also work for IT company right now. It was some sort of connection and link between what I fully realized I'm interested into at GSOM, and like connecting it to my real life. Yeah. So yeah, there were very cool, interesting courses during our time here.
Yeah, It's great to hear that they were so practically applicable. I think that's important for many people who are choosing between a variety of programs. So also about the practical aspect, you've already mentioned your internship. So I think that what is also might seem as a problem for students that are applying is the internship abroad, because it might feel a bit unrealistic for some. Many of us didn't have the experience. How did you approach that question? How did you look for an internship? Because I know you have several experiences with internships abroad. So could you please tell us how you approached this question, how you looked for internships and how you got accepted?
So I think that my first internship, which was in Germany, which I mentioned, was the easiest one because in terms of search, because it just happened to be. So I didn't do much. I just attended a course and then luckily I got this opportunity. But before my graduation, I decided to utilize everything that CEMS program can offer in terms of providing resources for for searching for those internships. So I would say that the major resources which I used were, number one, CEMS.org. There is a tab which is called Internship, and if you go there, there are a lot of CEMS corporate partners offers. So job offers, positions which are open exclusively for CEMS alumni. So I was checking those. And I was also looking at Facebook groups. I would recommend CEMS, I think it's called CEMS Job Offers.
Yeah,
something like that. And they post new jobs daily. So my next internship, which I found, my job was posted on Facebook, and it was posted by CEMS corporate partner, and it was a job in San Francisco. It was an internship in food tech company. It was an application, and it was sales or business development trainee position. So I applied and I had a session of very quick 3 interviews, and they hired me. Later on, they figured out that for Russians, there is some restrictions for visa for US. So I was sent to Amsterdam instead. I think that's CEMS gives you a really good opportunity to get a job abroad, because in order to apply for visa, it's way easier to apply for a job or internship, especially if you have a legal justification. So CEMS internship is a part of your program, so you have to do this. It's obligatory, and it has to be abroad. That's why when you apply for visa, it's very easy to justify.
Okay, yeah, that makes it sound easy.
It's very easy.
Nastya, what was it like for you?
Yeah, the environment which you get into definitely helps you. So all these Facebook groups, the websites, like CEMS websites, GSOM websites, there are a lot of opportunities for us to find a job. I wouldn't say it's that easy, honestly. And I'm not sure actually wherever this requirement of ours that we need to have this internship abroad really helps to get a visa. Maybe for some countries, but not
in Germany.
In Germany, yeah, I think that was definitely the experience that you had. For me, I actually, I should say that career fairs were very helpful for me, and that's how I found my first internship abroad. It was the company in the USA, and they came to our school and we were looking for business analytics and for HR, and I applied for this position there and got into this, and I went for actually it should have been 1.5 years, but I spent there only 1 year working in Florida. It was a very interesting experience, even though I realized that it's not something that I'd like to do in the future, and I decided to stop the program a little bit early and move for a leadership program in Moscow. That I also changed in half a year, but it was my way. And yeah, I think that career fairs everywhere at GSOM and Budapest Career Forum. I'm not sure if all of the events each year happens there. But it's like a large CEMS event. There are a lot of corporate partners who you can approach.
You go there?
Yeah, I was in the Netherlands at that semester, and it was easier for me to drive. There were like 25 students on one bus riding from the Netherlands to Budapest.
Before, you know, actually,
no, it wasn't bus; it was plane. But anyway, but we took a bus later on, but it was for a different
some
trip.
of my classmates actually flew from Japan to that forum.
It's a great forum.
And then back.
It was amazing experience. One of the best
Nice.
experience during my CEMS program, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it was huge. Yeah, it was definitely huge. There were a lot of social events and like quick datings with the alumni, and there was also
Oh yes.
a large party and some sort of a meeting with all the corporate partners and alumni in the central hall of Budapest or something. It was a huge event. It was cool. You like were dressing very nice dresses and smokings and like you know,
CEMS Gala.
like yeah. I think it was called something like that. So it was very cool. And
Nice.
that's another opportunity for students to find a job, because there are a lot of interviews that you can get into. You can go to the booths and talk to concrete company. And I know that there are a lot of people who get the job there.
You know, actually, to add to what Nastya just said, my current job I also found at the conference. It was a job fair in Seoul, and I had speed dates with various companies, and one of them was my current employer. So for sure, career fairs are super helpful, and I mean, of course, it's a must to attend all of those which are offered, especially which are organized by your home school.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
really, you really made it sound easy now.
Yeah, it's so
Like, add
easy.
some confidence, really. However, you're still mentioning interviews, right? You can't get away from interviews. What do you think were the experiences during your studies or maybe exchange that helped you pass these interviews? What do you think students should look into, focus on, maybe some qualities that they should develop, and maybe the CEMS program or GSOM is particularly good at helping there. So what do you think? What should we focus on as students?
I would say practice.
I think you should
The most
try
important
to.
thing.
Yeah, practice makes perfect for sure. I think it's very important to have thick skin and to not be afraid of failure, because everybody fails and you cannot grow or learn anything without failing first, a lot of times. You know, actually there was one experience that, just little story time. One experience that helped me a lot to pass interviews later on, which was in Japan. One of my goals for my exchange was to get a job in Japan. And I went to this job fair, and there was a company which was Singaporean, and they were looking for someone who could do sales for them for overseas and Japanese market. And when I came to the interview, like second stage to the office, they gave me a list of phones, and they gave me a phone, and they were like, okay, call them and figure out the top sales manager, like sales lead, and his email address. So it's like, because the company was doing something like headhunting, so what they are trying to get is database, right, with people and their contact information, which they can later on sell to someone. So I was like, okay, great. I cannot speak Japanese. I have only a phone. I don't know what company even I'm calling, what they're selling. So it's like, you know, calling into nowhere. And I found this guy in the office who was from Kazakhstan, who could speak Japanese and who could speak Russian, of course. So I asked him for some phrases in Japanese. I learned those phrases and I started just calling. Like, I met you at the conference, this fair, and I have this number I need. So I was like trying to, you know, utilize my brain to make up stuff. So I think, like, try to put you in those kind of situations where you have to go beyond what you can do, and try to think creative every time, like how you can resolve this flexibly. So yeah, just don't be afraid. Go participate in every event that like GSOM is offering to you. and try to lead try to take leadership, try to lead the project, because these days every company is looking for leaders, for those who can take responsibility and who can lead people.
Thank you for the insights. A very interesting and unusual story. I think I've never heard an
It was
interview
crazy.
story like this.
By the way, I filled in all the list. I think I had like 2 missing points, and they gave me an offer in the end. It was like 8 hours interview. My dad was waiting outside. He was crazy. He was so like furious because he didn't know where to go, and I was just gone in the building for 8 hours. But I nailed the interview in the end because I didn't stop. And there is nothing like, what's the worst that can happen? Just you know, you call, you don't know those people. Just do your best, and something good will happen.
Thank you. Nastia, what do you think? What are your recommendations?
Yeah, adding to that, the only thing that I think I can add is that you need to practice. I started to apply for job starting from my 2nd term, I guess, and I continued doing that for 2 years or something, and eventually I just felt like that's the easiest way for me to communicate with people, just to have an interview. Like, ask a question about my background, I will tell you everything. Like, really, I can wake up at 3 a.m. and I can tell you the story of my life.
And you have a story for every specific question, because it's always a set of questions. Tell me a story when you showed your leadership skills, when you saved someone, when you had
how
a fight,
you overcome your
team.
stress, or like, there's, I think, a list of 25 questions that you really need to know how to answer to all these questions, and you will be able to apply those answers to any interview, I would say.
Yeah.
So this is something, I guess, very important. And another thing is actually had something in mind, very important. I've been thinking, but maybe not that important, so I forgot that.
You know, actually, I remember, so every application starts with your CV. So your CV has to be perfect. And when I came to GSOM, I remember I used to study politics. I was never taught how to, I didn't even know that CV is not 5 pages long. My CV was 5 pages. And it included everything that I could put on paper. My CV was actually checked. I gave it to check to every alumni I met. I just asked them, can you please have a look and let me know what can be fixed? And our alumni are the best. So I cleaned it, polished it, so it looked as nice as possible. In your CV, you always have to, of course, mention only relevant skills which are relevant for the position. And in case if you're applying for sales or business development, it has to be a lot of numbers, like percentage of sales increase, or like number 1% of the class, those kind of numerical things. Then for the interview, as Anastasia said, of course, there is always a set of questions. I had like 4 stories of my amazing self, which I
should repeat again and again every time.
Every time, like, okay, oh yes, actually, yes, you know what? I have the story to tell to you. And I would just use those stories every single time. The only thing is that sometimes some companies have like for example, Google has interview, and there are like 4 stages, if I'm not mistaken, and there is those kind of questions every single time. So you have to understand that those people communicate with each other, and you cannot use the same story twice. So just make sure you have enough of those stories to tell.
Write a little book.
Yeah.
With your stories.
Yeah.
Instead of a CV.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I actually remembered what I wanted to say. It's not like something very insightful, but do your homework. For me, I think I realized that only a couple of months ago when I was applying for my last job. And that was the only time when I was really devoted to one particular position. I really wanted this job, and I didn't consider any other options. So I spent a lot of time to prepare, to read all the vocabulary that exists on the website of this company, and like really get into that. And I think that's something that helped me to get this job, because I was really devoted. Apart from having these basic stories which you utilize every time, you really need to think about what you want to do and for what company you want to work for.
Be specific.
Yeah, and another thing is I think you should, when you apply for a position, you should try to figure out, first of all, learn the product as good as you can. I remember when I was applying for Google, I learned everything that was on there, on like Google, every product they had. And also try to figure out how you can contribute to that company, because that question comes up quite often. What value can you bring to our team? Why we should actually hire you and not someone else? So I think that's pretty basic, but yeah.
Well, it's still very inspiring. I don't know. It sounds like, wow, okay, let's look for a job now.
I think everybody applied for Google back to the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you for the insights, really. And I think to finish your interview, maybe, what are your future plans? What are you currently working on?
It's COVID. Come on, there is no future. It's very tricky to. I don't like talking about my plans, because it's very flexible. It can change. So what happens, that happens. Let's see how all of this COVID thing is gonna go. For now, I am working in Asia. I'm quite happy. I'm very comfortable living there. So for now, I'm focused on Asia, and let's see what's gonna come up next. I'm waiting for the next exciting opportunity. But I'm definitely very happy right now, where I am right now.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
Nastya, what about you?
Yeah, I think it's a very difficult question for me as well. Every time then on the interview, the people ask me, what are your plans in 5 years? I'm like, I don't know. Really? You're asking me, if you take me to this position, maybe this is my plan. But if you don't, then I will have something else, I guess. Continue learning things, continue looking for new opportunities and challenges. And even during COVID time, I found a job abroad, and the company was very nice to help me with all the relocation issues. So I think that it's just, you always need to have in mind what you want to do, and if you're really into find an internship abroad or like full-time job or like do anything else, you just really need to dig into this. And I have an understanding what now I'd like to do at my current job, and I think that this is a path that I'm gonna take for a little while at least. I will see what's gonna happen in 5 years.
But we will never know, because she just came from US, and then before that she was in the Netherlands, and then it was Moscow, and now it's Berlin. So Korea, I'm waiting for you there. That's cool.
Thank you very much for your insights. I really think that was very informative, and I guess you answered a lot of questions that many of future CEMSis or current CEMSis have about their program plans and about the future after graduation. I was very happy to see you here, and I was very happy to talk to you. So hope to see you soon. Thank you very much, and
thank
see you later.
As well.
Thank you very much. It was interesting.
Yeah.